It's a silent epidemic going on right now with young people. There were some days where social media meant more than my actual life. I was that deep into it. My name is Garrett Powell, and this is my story. Growing up in Birmingham, Alabama, it's obviously deep South. My parents are very strong conservatives, and they definitely pushed us to believe in conservatism at an early age and did a pretty good job explaining basically the outline of what a conservative is. The common phrase, being from Alabama, that I joke around with people is that we're dirt road banjo and we wear overalls every day. But we have paved roads, and I think it's one of the more welcoming places I've ever lived. But I love hog hunting, deer hunting, turkey hunting. I believe owning a weapon and practicing safety and learning how to use it is one of the most important things you can do. I did grow up religious, so my mom is Episcopalian, my dad's a Methodist, and so we actually went to a Methodist church every Sunday, and we would walk to church and walk to brunch afterwards. We also had a very traditional church, and so I was a frequent napper sometimes, but thankfully we outgrew that and see the significance today. I didn't grow up with the most financially wealthy family, but every 3 or 4 months, my dad would take us out to this rinky-dink golf course called Oak Mountain State Park, and we get the earliest tee time on a Saturday. And he did it because he always said the thing about golf is that it's the only thing where you have time to hear God's voice. And so that kind of stuck with me over time. My profession by trade is a golf pro. So I teach people how to not stink at golf for a living, and I also play professionally on the side. So I got on the Bachelorette because I got dumped by a girlfriend, and 2 days later, my sister-in-law, Jesselyn, texted me and she said, "Hey, just want to let you know I filled out a profile for you on ABC's website for the Bachelorette." And she was like, "Well, will you promise me one thing? Like, if they call you, will you at least try?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, cool." Get an email saying, "Hey, think you might be a good fit for this show. Give me a call back." And so I was very calm during all the interview process because I just thought I didn't stand a chance. In my mind, I just didn't think they'd pick me because, I'm just this dude from Alabama. I'm a golf pro. That's really it. I'm not some jacked, ripped dude. I just didn't think reality TV was my thing. And we traveled to Rhode Island, Scotland, Latvia, and she gave me the boot in the Netherlands. But experience on the show was actually great. It's one of those things that 1% of people ever get to experience. That's essentially why I decided to do it. So this production company, they posted an article about me being problematic. This was as the show was airing, and based off of my likes I had on Twitter and Instagram. And it was stuff that was just like common sense to me about hey, there are only two genders. Jesus Christ was actually a cool dude. Hey, talk means nothing, hard work means everything. And I was so shocked, and it was one of the first times I questioned myself, saying, am I a bad person for liking that? Because so many people were coming down on me for it. So that post hit hard. I didn't really know how to respond to it, to be honest with you. After the Bachelorette, I just went back home. I just wanted to be a golf pro again. Just wanted to be a regular guy. Found out really quickly that wasn't gonna happen. I like to say there's two avenues. After the show, you can continue being yourself, or you can constantly seek fame and chase fame. And fame is like a drug. Once you experience it, there's always a part of you that wants to continue to experience it. And so it's a constant battle between someone that you are and someone that you're not. And I didn't really care at all about likes on social media or anything beforehand. It was definitely being on that show, and it kind of lied to of the importance of what social media is and what other people think. And so that is, in my opinion, a destructive mentality to have. And then, the following year came. June of 2020 is when it really all started. There was a Blackout Tuesday. You were supposed to post a black square to represent Black Americans and their voice. And my whole issue with that was, I'm not supportive of BLM, the organization. I'm very supportive of the movement. I believe if someone feels like they're being mistreated, we should hear them. But shouldn't it be one race versus everybody else? It should be everybody together trying to help everybody. And so there was this Green Beret that I follow on Instagram who posted an American flag, and I DM'd him and we were talking about it, and he said that his reason for posting it was that the flag that we have today is not the flag that's always been United States of America's flag. Our flag has evolved over time, just like our nation has evolved over time. So our flag is a symbol that we will evolve. No matter whatever wrong is going on, we have a track record of showing that we right that wrong. You know, Alabama is a place where we have a history of, segregation. But again, we have evolved because we realized that we mistreated people. But now it's one of the most welcoming places to be. And so I was like, that's a great message. I'm gonna do that. And I posted the American flag with this emoji of every skin color below it and hashtag that something like, justice for George Floyd. And boy, the comments were pretty insane. That was the moment where I was like, am I a bad person for posting the American flag? When it comes down to it is, there was a part of me that believed I was a bad guy for being a conservative because other people said that I was. And I gave so much weight to their beliefs. And so then I started questioning, okay, like, Garrett, why are you a conservative? It was a lot of digging. I stumbled upon multiple conservative organizations and found PragerU's page. Haven't seen a social media account that was so devoted to not trying to prove people wrong, but just explain. If you look at conservatism in general, it's essentially self-reliance. And that's what I believe in the most, is that, especially in a nation like the United States, you have every excuse to thrive. It's okay, like you have one or two choices. You can kind of bow down to the crowd, or you can still kind of be who you are and represent what you believe. And so I kept posting conservative-based posts because that's what I believe in. And there was just so much hate. And so it was a constant battle of, hey, I want to be who I am and I want to speak out for what I think is right, but I also want other people to like me. And it took a while, but I'm very confident in what I believe in now. And, it's a silent epidemic going on right now with young people. There were some days where social media meant more than my actual life. I was that deep into it. But I think a lot of people have fallen into that trap. They are forming opinions based off of headlines instead of research. And it's really scary to think about where our youth today is going to be down the line if something doesn't change. I recommend people take breaks from social media because the more time you spend on social media, A, the more angry you're going to be, but B, it's important not to lose sight of the relationships that actually matter. Yeah, you might be following this influencer forever, but what about your mom and dad? What about your sisters and brothers? What about your nieces and nephews? It's definitely important to have a community of like-minded people because at some point your viewpoint is always going to get challenged, and I think it will help grow your confidence in what you believe in, and it'll also challenge you to learn more, especially with the media that we have nowadays. The left wants to make you feel like you're alone on an island. It's flat out, it's just not true. You gotta understand that you're not alone. There's plenty of us out there. And reach out, join Prager Force. There's plenty of people here that love to help you. It's important to get the message across that it is okay to have a different belief than somebody else. And we need to get comfortable with understanding, America is the melting pot. Not everyone's gonna believe the same thing, but that's okay. That's the way it should be. Thank you for watching this video. To continue making PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation. Thank you.